My beloved, I need you to pause for just a moment now and truly hear these gentle words. When heaven looks at you, I want you to understand it is not watching with any criticism or secretly waiting for you to fall down. The truth is, heaven has been drawing closer to you every single day, paying the closest kind of attention and quietly holding space just for your unique story. All the angels around you, they are not up there counting your mistakes or keeping a list of every time you stumbled. Not at all. Instead, they are standing there in a pure and quiet wonder, completely amazed by you. Why would they feel that way? It is because you have chosen a path that so very few people ever truly choose. When life offered you easy shortcuts and simple ways out, you made the brave decision to choose integrity, to do the right thing even when it was hard. When fear whispered terrible lies in your ear, trying to make you panic or hide, you somehow found the strength to choose love instead. When everything in the world told you it would have been easier to just walk away, to give up and take a simpler path, you decided to stay right there on the much harder road, the one called the road of truth. You should know that this brave choice you made did not go unseen. It was witnessed. The Bible tells us a beautiful secret that even the mighty angels in heaven themselves long to look into and understand the wonderful works God is doing inside human lives. That is from 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 12. And you, my dear friend, you are a living part of that holy and incredible mystery. Your personal journey, which has been so clearly marked by real struggle and also by a deep strength, has been slowly unfolding in ways that actually stir up awe and wonder right in the heavens themselves. They saw you. They witnessed you at your very lowest point, when everything inside you felt so tired and so deeply hurting that you could barely breathe. Yet in that terrible moment, instead of giving your heart over to bitterness and anger, which would have been so understandable, you kept moving forward. You took one small step, then another, then just one more breath, and then a single act of courage at a time. You kept going. Please listen, this is not any kind of weakness. What you were doing was showing a profound and quiet faith. And this kind of faithful perseverance matters so much more in this world and the next than you could ever possibly know. They saw you in all the quiet costs of your obedience, in all those sacrifices you made that you never explained to anyone else. They saw the times you gave up your own comfort so someone else could have a little peace. They noticed when you swallowed your pride to offer an apology, or when you stayed silent instead of fighting back to prove you were right. They witnessed the countless small deaths to your own desires, the dreams you gently laid down without a fuss, the extra patience you dug up from nowhere when you had none left to give. Every unseen act of kindness, every secret prayer cried into a pillow, every moment you chose hope when despair was knocking at your door, it was all seen and remembered. This great cloud of witnesses observed the weight you carried for others without complaining, the tears you dried in private, and the smiles you forced when your own heart was breaking. They saw the determination in your spirit when you got up on a morning that felt too heavy to face, and you faced it anyway. They saw you choosing honesty in a situation where a lie would have saved you so much trouble. They saw you offering forgiveness to someone who did not even ask for it, simply because you knew it was the only way to free your own soul. They beheld the beauty of your gentle spirit in a world that can be so harsh, and the consistent way you turned toward light, even when you were surrounded by thick darkness. All of this, every single bit of it, is what fills them with that quiet wonder. Your life is not a hidden story. It is a sacred text being read with reverence in the places we cannot see. So remember, you are part of a holy mystery, a living testament to a faithful God, and every difficult step on your journey of struggle and strength is noted with profound respect and love. They saw you in the quiet cost of your obedience, in the sacrifices you never explain, in the deep, lonely nights when the tears came without a single sound, rolling down your face in the private darkness of your room, and in those harsh, early mornings when you found a way to stand up on your feet anyway, to face the day even as your tired body and your weary soul pleaded with you for just a little more rest, for just a bit of a break. Heaven was there as a witness to that specific quiet strength, and what it saw stirred a genuine and profound awe within the heavenly realm. What truly moved their hearts, what really caught their attention, was never the big visible successes that everyone could see, not the public wins of victory that others might celebrate with you. It was always the unseen battles you fought inside your own mind and heart, the private endurance you showed when you were completely alone, and the humble, raw faith that you practiced in total silence with no one around to applaud or even notice. You, in your fatigue and discouragement, believed with all your heart that those quiet moments were small and insignificant, maybe even completely wasted time or proof of your own failure. But heaven, with its perfect understanding, knew so much better. They saw the full, beautiful picture you could not see. Those very moments, the ones you thought didn't matter at all, were in fact the exact moments that were building something eternal. They were the precious seconds and minutes that were actively making and shaping eternity itself. I need you to pause right here and really pay close attention to this life-changing truth. If you could imagine your life as a grand and intricate symphony, a beautiful piece of music, you must understand that there are deep, resonant tones and delicate melodies woven all through it that only heaven has the special ability to truly hear. These are the gentle, sacred notes that remain perfectly hidden beneath all the noise and chaos and busyness of your ordinary daily life. It is that one slow, calming breath you consciously chose to take instead of letting fly the harsh, angry words that were burning on the tip of your tongue. It is the unexpected, unearned mercy you decided to offer to someone when a feeling of revenge felt completely fair and richly deserved by them. It is that fragile, trembling trust you held onto with both hands, your knuckles white from the effort, when a season of spiritual or emotional darkness stayed so much longer than you ever expected or planned for, when the night seemed like it would never end. The scripture gives us this powerful promise to hold on to. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. That is written in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. This is a direct and personal word for you, for every single time you have felt soul-weary from the effort of simply trying to do the right thing. Heaven was not just a passive observer. Heaven was an attentive listener, and it heard every single note, every chord, every strain of your beautiful, ongoing perseverance. They heard the soft melody of you getting out of bed on a day filled with dread, the harmony of you speaking kindness to a stranger when you yourself felt empty, and the steady, rhythmic beat of your faithful heart, continuing to love even when it was bruised and tender. The Bible gives us a beautiful and solid promise to hold on to. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. That is from the book of Isaiah, in chapter 43, verse 2. You have lived that truth. You have not just read it. You have walked through deep waters of difficulty and discovered, step by step, that you were not alone. Your life itself became a message, not one spoken with fancy words from a stage, but one that was embodied and lived out in your everyday actions. Your life became grace in motion, a picture of God's kindness moving through the world. It became light, chosen again and again deliberately in the direct presence of darkness. And even if you cannot see yourself that way yet, even if you look in the mirror and see only your ordinary self, heaven never missed a single moment of your beautiful, faithful display. Maybe right now, in this very moment, you feel completely wrapped up in the ordinary, heavy weight of daily life. You think of the bills that need to be paid, the promises you made to yourself or others that just didn't work out the way you planned, and the long days that seem to blur together into one long, boring routine. From where you are standing, in the middle of it all, it may all seem unremarkable, like nothing special is happening. You might feel like you are just getting through, just managing, just surviving, but I need you to understand a heavenly perspective. In the unseen realm, the spiritual reality that surrounds us, your ordinary moments have carried an extraordinary, a tremendous weight. Every time you chose patience with a crying child when you were exhausted, that mattered. Every time you did an honest day's work, even when no one was watching to give you credit, that counted. Every time you swallowed your frustration in traffic, offered a kind word to a grumpy cashier, or simply decided to try again after a disappointment, those were not small things. They were sacred offerings. When you cooked a meal for your family, when you showed up for a friend, when you folded the laundry, when you prayed a tired prayer, these are the threads that weave a tapestry of faithfulness. The spiritual realm sees the glory in your getting up, in your showing up, in your not giving up. It sees the invisible battles you win when you choose peace over panic, when you choose gratitude over grumbling. The weight of your obedience in the small things is like gold in heaven's economy. It is the steady, constant pressure of your love, like a river, carving a canyon through stone that has a permanent and beautiful effect. So while you see the grocery list and the to-do list, heaven sees a story of steadfastness. While you feel the weight of responsibility, heaven honors the strength it takes to carry it. Your life, in all its seemingly mundane details, is a living testament, a walking sermon of a love that refuses to quit. From where you stand, it may all seem unremarkable. But in the unseen realm, your ordinary moments have carried extraordinary. Every quiet choice you have ever made, every single time you decided in your heart to do what was right, even when it was hard or lonely, has echoed all the way through heaven with more power and force than you could ever possibly imagine. What felt small and insignificant to you in that private moment of decision was never ever small in the eyes of God. To him, those choices are the most important moments of all. Think back carefully now to the last moment when you had every good reason, every justification to strike back at someone who hurt you, to give them a piece of your mind, to make them pay, yet you chose a quiet release instead. You let it go. Remember that moment when sharp, cutting words were sitting right there on your tongue, ready to fly out and cause damage, but you bit them back, you swallowed them, and you let a patient silence speak for you. But here is the beautiful, important truth. Spiritually, in your inner being, you are carrying a steady light that simply cannot be hidden, no matter how you feel. This light, born from your quiet faith, unsettles and confuses those people around you who do not understand the source of your peace. It silently challenges those who fully expected you to break under the pressure, to become angry and cynical like so many others do. Heaven itself is not amazed because you lived a perfect, spotless life without a single misstep. Heaven is profoundly moved for a much deeper reason, because you kept saying a quiet yes to love, to hope, to goodness, when everything inside of you had 1,000 good, logical, understandable reasons to scream no. That specific kind of faithful, stubborn yes is rare in this world. The mighty angels in heaven have witnessed wonders far beyond human imagination. They have seen entire seas part to make a dry road. They have watched thick darkness flee at a single spoken word from God. These are spectacular, breathtaking miracles. Yet, they pause in their duties and lean in with wonder when they see a simple human heart remain soft, tender, and open under the heavy pressure of life's hardships. They have watched throughout history as countless people have turned hard and bitter when the storms of life came crashing down. And then they see you, after your own storms, still choosing to love others, still daring to hope for better days, still walking slowly but surely toward a deeper faith. That too is a miracle. In many ways, that is the kind of miracle that captures their attention most of all. So I am telling you now, do not diminish or downplay what you have lived through and survived. Do not brush aside your quiet obedience, your daily decisions to do the right thing, as if they were insignificant or unimportant. You must not treat your own faithfulness lightly. Heaven has already recorded every single act of it. Heaven has already celebrated those moments with a joy we cannot yet hear. And in time, at the right moment, the earth itself will feel the impact of your faithful life. The good seeds you planted in silence, in tears, in secret, seeds of kindness, honesty, and prayer, are quietly stirring beneath the surface, gathering strength and preparing to bear beautiful fruit in public for many to see. The integrity that felt completely invisible to you, that you wondered if anyone noticed, is about to become undeniable. It will shine out in ways you cannot yet predict. The strength you built in private will become the foundation for something public and purposeful. The love you chose to give when it was not returned is about to come back to you in waves you did not expect. Your story is not over. The most visible chapters are being written right now, built upon the solid, hidden work of all those years you thought you were just getting by. So hold on. The light you carry is real. The witness of heaven is real. The harvest is coming. Some days you still feel tired and unsure, but spiritually you are carrying a light that cannot be hidden. It unsettles those who don't understand your peace. It challenges those who expected you to. Heaven is not amazed because you lived perfectly. Heaven is moved because you kept saying yes when everything inside you had reasons to say no. That kind of faith is rare. Angels have witnessed wonders beyond human imagination. They have seen seas part and darkness flee at a word. Yet they pause when they see a human heart remain soft under pressure. They have watched people turn bitter when storms came, and then they see you still loving, still hoping, still walking toward faith. That too is a miracle. So don't diminish what you've lived. Don't brush aside your obedience as insignificant. Heaven has already recorded it. Heaven has already celebrated it. And in time, the earth will feel the impact. The seeds you planted in silence are preparing to bear fruit in public. The integrity that felt invisible is about to become undeniable. You became, through all the struggle and the daily choice, someone who simply refused to quit. You became a person who, when faced with a reason to walk away, decided instead to stay and fight a quieter, nobler fight. You became someone who kept giving your last bit of energy, your last ounce of patience, your last shred of hope, even when you felt completely empty inside, like a well that had run totally dry. You became someone who carries real scars, the visible and invisible marks from battles lost and won. And yet with those scars as part of your story, you still deliberately, consciously chose peace. You chose peace over picking a fight, you chose calm over chaos, and you chose to mend instead of to tear apart. That choice, that consistent decision, is not any kind of weakness. Let me say that again. That is not weakness. That is a holy divine strength. It is the kind of strength that is forged in the hidden fires of difficulty, and it is the most durable kind there is. Here is what you must remember, what you need to write on your heart so you don't forget. You are already walking, right at this very moment, in a state of blessing, a special favor and protection that cannot be revoked. It cannot be taken back, cancelled, or undone by any person or any circumstance. God's own hand, His guiding and providing hand, has been resting on your life from the very beginning, from your first breath. Even during all those long, lonely seasons when you felt completely overlooked by everyone around you, forgotten by friends, invisible at work, or alone in a crowd, His powerful love for you never, not even for a second, loosened its firm and gentle grip on you. It held on tight. We as people often expect blessings to arrive with a lot of noise and fanfare, with public recognition and applause, or with sudden magical breakthroughs that fix everything overnight. But the beautiful, quiet truth is that many of the deepest, most permanent blessings arrive in total silence. They slip in through the back door of your life. They arrive wearing the disguise of endurance, the sheer ability to withstand one more day. They arrive as the simple, shaky breath you managed to take after a heartbreak, and then the next breath and the one after. They arrive as a tiny, flickering light of hope that you gripped with all your might in the pitch black of your dark night, refusing to let the wind blow it out. The steadfast, faithful, never-ending love of the Lord never ceases. It never runs out of fuel. It never gets tired of. That is a solid promise straight from the Bible in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 22. Even when you cannot see the happy outcome yet, when the finish line is still hidden around a corner you haven't turned, God's blessings very often begin as tiny, buried seeds, seeds of character, seeds of promise, seeds of future joy, long before they ever grow up into a visible harvest that you can enjoy. For many years now you have been faithfully, patiently carrying these very seeds of God's favor. You've carried them in your pocket through hard days. You've carried them in your heart through lonely nights. You've been carrying seeds of kindness you planted, seeds of honest work, seeds of silent prayers. And now can you sense it? The ground all around you is shifting. The spiritual season is changing. The long winter of waiting is finally beginning to thaw. What has been hidden away, your true purpose, the fruit of your faithfulness, the dreams you thought had died, is gathering strength and preparing to rise up, to break through the hard soil of your past struggle. One morning, sooner than you currently expect, you will wake up and you will feel it in the very air. You will sense a change, a new beginning, a lightness you haven't known in years. You will look out at your life and you will see the first green shoots, the undeniable evidence of the harvest that was growing all along, in secret, nurtured by every good choice you made even when no one was watching. It is coming. The blessing has been growing with you, and its time to be seen is almost here. You became someone who refused to quit, someone who kept giving even when empty, someone who carried scars and still chose peace. That is not weakness. That is holy strength. Here is what you must remember. You are already walking in a blessing that cannot be revoked. God's hand has been on your life from the beginning. Even when you felt overlooked, His love never loosened its grip. We often expect blessings to arrive with noise, recognition, or sudden breakthroughs. But many of the deepest blessings arrive quietly. They arrive as endurance, as breath after heartbreak, as light held on to in the dark. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Lamentations 3:22. Even when you cannot see the outcome yet, God's blessings often begin as seeds before they become harvest. You have been carrying seeds of favor for years, and now the ground around you is shifting. The season is changing. What has been hidden is preparing to rise. One morning, sooner than you expect, you will wake up and feel it. Of course, here is the rewritten text. Please hear this clearly, my dear friend. I know how easy it is to misunderstand this. Rest is not weakness. Choosing to be still is not a sign of defeat. Rest is in fact what true strength looks like after you have fought with everything you have. It takes incredible bravery to finally unclench your fists when you've been holding on so tightly for so long. Think about it. When a long and terrible war has finally come to an end, the soldiers come home, but their bodies and minds don't instantly understand that the danger has passed. You carry that tension in your muscles, in your tightened shoulders, in the way you sleep lightly for a long time afterward. For very good and valid reasons, you learn to stay alert. You learn to brace yourself emotionally for the next problem, the next disappointment, the next rejection, the next betrayal. You learn to anticipate the hurt before it even arrived. That defensive, ready-for-anything posture became your familiar stance. It became your normal way of existing in the world. It became so normal, so routine, that even now, with the hardest and most defining battles clearly in your past, your mind still runs on that old outdated software. It still automatically, habitually scans the horizon of your life, searching for a danger that simply no longer exists in the way it once did. It's like a person who lived through a famine, still hoarding food long after the pantry is full. But God is gently saying to you now, in this quiet moment, you don't have to live like that anymore. The ceasefire is permanent. The all-clear signal has been sounded. You are safe. You are profoundly safe. You are safe to lower your guard. You are safe to take a full, deep, cleansing breath that fills your lungs all the way. You are safe to rest your anxious mind, to rest your tender heart, to rest your weary spirit. He is standing watch over you, and he is inviting you to make a trade, to exchange that exhausting posture of constant readiness for the peaceful posture of a beloved child who knows they are home, protected, and cherished. You get to learn a new normal, and it all begins with this one courageous act, believing deep down that you are finally safe enough to rest. Rest does not mean doing nothing. It is so important to get this right, because after fighting for so long, your mind might confuse stillness with failure. Rest does not mean you have stopped contributing or that your life has no purpose. Rest means living without the heavy, constant fear that everything you've built, everything you care about, will suddenly collapse the very moment you pause to take a single breath. It means walking through your days without that underlying dread that if you are not constantly holding everything together with your own two hands, it will all fall apart. Rest means finally releasing the heavy weight you have been carrying on your shoulders, the weight of old battles, old sorrows and old expectations, a weight you somehow incredibly already carried all the way past the finish line without even realizing the race was over. You have been walking around with this burden long after you were meant to set it down. Rest in its truest form is trust in motion. It is trusting God with your tomorrow while you peacefully live in your today. It is trusting that your worth is secure even when you are not producing. It is trusting that your foundation is solid even when you are not constantly checking for cracks. Think about it carefully. When someone finally finishes running a marathon, when they cross that line after 26 long miles, no one in the crowd questions whether they have earned the right to sit down. No one points a finger and accuses them of being lazy for needing to catch their breath, for needing to drink some water, for needing to just be still and let their aching body recover. Why does no one question them? Because the effort they gave is undeniable. The proof of their struggle and their victory is written plainly into their exhausted body, into their worn-out shoes, into their tired stride, and most of all, into the immense distance they have already left behind them. Their rest is the direct and rightful result of their hard-fought journey. That's you. That is exactly where you are. You ran a spiritual and emotional distance that others never believed you could survive. You ran through pain, through loneliness, through seasons of sheer confusion. You endured personal storms that were meant to empty you completely, to leave you with nothing left to give, to drain your hope and your joy dry. But you kept running. You kept putting one foot in front of the other, even when you couldn't see the path. The distance you have covered is written into the fabric of your soul, in your resilience, in your quiet prayers, in the wisdom in your eyes that only comes from having weathered hard things. The proof of your journey is undeniable to anyone who really sees you, and most importantly, it is undeniable to heaven. So your rest now is not a sign of inactivity. It is the evidence of a completed work. It is the necessary and honorable pause after a monumental effort. You are not dropping out of the race by resting. You are honoring the fact that you have already finished the most difficult leg of it. This is your time to catch your breath, to let your spirit be refreshed, to drink deeply from the well of peace, because you have absolutely, without question, earned the right to do so through everything you have already endured. And the simple fact that you are still here, reading these words, breathing and holding on, is all the evidence anyone should ever need that your endurance was real. You did not imagine the struggle. You did not make up the weight of what you carried. The proof is in your very presence here today. That's why rest is no longer optional for you. It is not a luxury you can maybe choose if you find the time. It is not a treat for when you finally get everything done. It is necessary. It is as vital to your next season as water is to a plant. It is what repairs the wear and tear on your soul. It is what prepares you quietly and deeply for the good things that are meant to come next in your life. You cannot receive a new chapter with hands that are still tightly clenched from the last one. You need this rest to open your heart and your hands again. This is the gentle, powerful shift you are being invited to make right now. You are not in constant, immediate danger anymore. The alarm bell does not need to ring in your spirit all day, every day. You are not one mistake, one misstep, one missed opportunity away from losing everything you have worked for. That looming fear can be laid down. You are not living under a sentence of endless exhaustion, condemned to a life of just getting by, drained of all joy and color. That old sentence has been overturned. The long, hard fight tried to teach you a lesson. It tried to teach you that survival had to be your core identity, that your main purpose in life was just to make it through to the next day. It defined you as a survivor, which was true for a time, but it is not your forever name. But heaven is now teaching you something beautifully new. A new lesson is being written on your heart. Rest is now your inheritance. It is not something you earn with more work. It is a gift left to you, your rightful share of the promise, because you are a child of God. As Scripture says so clearly, the Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. That is from Psalm 29:11. Notice the beautiful order here. He gives strength, yes, for the journey, but then he also blesses. He freely gives as a gift his people with peace. This peace is the wrapping around the strength. It is the environment in which your renewed strength is meant to grow. When you truly begin to live from that settled place of rest, when you operate from a spirit that is no longer in emergency mode, absolutely everything begins to change. You will notice subtle shifts first. You'll notice you don't have to rush into conversations or situations to prove your worth anymore. You can speak or be silent without the anxiety of needing everyone to approve of you. You find that the right opportunities, the right connections, the right ideas begin to come toward you with a gentle flow, without you having to frantically chase them down or force doors open. They find you because you are finally rooted in the right place, a place of peace and trust, not desperation and lack. Your value is no longer tied to what you achieve, so you can achieve things from a purer, more joyful place. Your relationships are no longer based on what you can provide in a crisis, so they can deepen in genuine love. This is the fruit of rest. It changes the quality of your entire life. It is the foundation for a new way of being, where you are led by purpose instead of pushed by panic, and where you are guided by a quiet confidence that was never possible when you were living in a state of constant weariness. This is the upgrade that rest brings. It is not an end. It is the necessary beginning of everything new that is waiting for you. You stop running after the voices that never truly saw you. You stop exhausting yourself trying to earn a nod of approval from people who never really looked into your eyes to see the person you are. You end the chase for validation from places that were always empty, from relationships that only took and never gave back the understanding you craved. You stop explaining yourself, your heart, your choices, and your dreams to people who were already committed to misunderstanding you. You realize that your worth is not up for a debate in a court where the jury has already decided against you. You learn to save your sacred energy for the connections that matter, for the people who welcome you as you are. Rest, deep and true rest, has this powerful effect. It completely silences desperation, that frantic, anxious feeling that made you grasp at things and people. That was the last heavy chain still trying to hold you back, to keep you tethered to old cycles of pain and disappointment. When that final chain breaks, because you have chosen to accept peace instead of panic, something beautiful happens. Your spirit finally settles. It is like a leaf that has been tossed in a stormy wind, finally floating down to rest on calm water. That stillness is your soul coming home to itself. Now, let's be very clear about what this rest is not. Rest doesn't mean you stop caring about the people you love or the work you are called to do. It doesn't mean you become heartless or lazy. It doesn't mean you walk away from your responsibilities or ignore the needs around you. What it means is something much more freeing. Fear no longer gets to be the boss of your decisions. You are no longer making choices based on a scared voice in your head that whispers, "What if this goes wrong?" or "What will they think?" It means you no longer believe the old, exhausting lie that everything good in your life depends entirely on you pushing harder, trying more, or stretching yourself thinner until there is nothing left of you. That season of striving is over. It means you are finally, and with great relief, letting God carry the heavy burdens He always intended to carry all along. The weight of making everything work out perfectly, the stress of controlling other people, the anxiety about the future, the pain from the past. You are handing over the luggage you were never meant to travel with alone. And please understand, this isn't just a nice metaphor or a pretty picture to make you feel better. It is a real promise from God to you, written down so you would never forget. When you've spent years, maybe your whole life, being wired for survival, when your default setting has been to watch for threats, brace for impact, and protect yourself at all costs, even simple joy can feel suspicious, like it might be a trick. A quiet moment can feel dangerous, like the calm before a storm you're sure is coming. Genuine love or a simple kindness can feel too good to be true, making you want to pull back because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. That feeling of unease doesn't mean something is wrong with you, or that you're failing at this rest. It just means your body and your logical mind are still catching up to what your spirit already knows is true. They are on a delay, like an old computer system updating slowly. Heaven has already declared the new reality. The battle for your peace, for your identity, for your future is over. Now your human system, your nerves, your thoughts, your emotions, is in the process of learning how to live safely inside that settled truth. So please be incredibly gentle with yourself in this process. You would not yell at a child learning to walk. Don't yell at your heart for learning to rest. You have to practice resting now with the same intention and patience you once practiced fighting. You became good at enduring, at pushing through, at surviving. Now, you must practice being still, letting go, and trusting. Practice receiving kindness, receiving help, receiving peace, the same dedicated way you once practiced persevering through hardship. At first it will feel awkward. You might feel restless or guilty, like you should be doing something more. That's just the old wiring sparking. Keep practicing. Sit in the quiet for 5 minutes. Say a thank you without dismissing a compliment. Allow someone to help you. These are the new exercises for your soul. Over time, as you keep at it, you'll begin to see something amazing. You'll see that this rest doesn't make you soft or weak. Actually, it sharpens you. It makes you more effective, not less. You start to think more clearly because your mind isn't clouded by exhaustion and frantic worry. Solutions come easier when you're not panicking. You begin to love other people more deeply and patiently because you are not running on empty, trying to pour from a cup that's dry. Your love comes from an overflow, not from a deficit. You build a stronger life, stronger relationships, stronger work, a stronger future, because you are not constantly in emergency mode, just trying to repair the latest damage or put out the newest fire. You can build with a plan, with vision, with a steady hand. That's precisely why God is so lovingly insisting on this shift for you right now. He's not just giving you a temporary break before throwing you back into the chaos. He's not offering a short vacation. What he is giving you is sustainability. He is giving you a new way to live that can last, a way that doesn't burn you out or wear you down to a nub. He is replacing the frantic, draining cycle of survival with a sustainable, renewable rhythm of grace. He is teaching you how to live from a place of being filled up so you can live a long, fruitful and healthy life without collapsing under the weight of it all. This rest is the foundation for everything good that is still to come. It's the solid ground you've needed, so you can finally build something beautiful and lasting without fear of it all falling apart the moment you stop holding your breath. This is his upgrade for your life, moving you from a state of constant depletion to a state of sustainable peace. He's showing you in ways you can finally feel that his blessing was never meant to cost you your well-being. God's good gifts and plans for your life were never supposed to come at the price of your peace, your health, or your joy. The very atmosphere of your daily life will begin to feel different, lighter somehow. This shift will not happen because the world around you suddenly changed its opinion of you, deciding to applaud you or give you the credit you deserve. It will happen because the earth, the physical realm of your circumstances, finally caught up to what heaven already knew about you all along. The truth that was held in the heart of God is now becoming visible in your world. What you have carried deep within your spirit, your faith, your integrity, your hope, is about to reflect outward like a hidden light finally finding a window. And this will not happen in just one small area of your life as a single lucky break. It will begin to unfold across the whole landscape of your life, touching your relationships, your work, your peace of mind, and your sense of purpose. Where there was once constant pressure, a feeling of being squeezed from all sides, there will be a new and surprising room to breathe, to stretch, to dream again. Where there was stubborn resistance at every turn, people opposing you, doors slamming shut, there will be a tangible grace, a sense of things opening up and flowing with an ease that feels unfamiliar. Challenges may still come because life is life, but they will no longer drain you of all your joy and energy the way they once did. They will feel different. You will face them from a place of rest, not panic. This is because a divine grace is now carrying the very burdens, the very responsibilities that used to feel completely impossible for you to bear on your own. And in those quiet moments of realization, you will know deep within your spirit, in a place beyond doubt, that none of your past pain, none of your long obedience, none of your secret tears was ever wasted. It was all necessary. It was all part of the preparation. If you allow yourself to stay still, to be peaceful and present, just a little longer than you once did in your frantic rushing, you will begin to notice the evidence of this change. It will not crash in all at once in a noisy, overwhelming wave. It will arrive gently, like the first soft colors of sunrise. You will see God's favor showing up in unexpected, ordinary ways. In a helpful conversation you didn't plan to have, with someone who says just the right word at the right time. You will see opportunities finding you, coming to your door, without the exhausting struggle and striving you have grown so used to. You will feel a quiet, solid peace filling up the internal spaces of your heart and your home that once felt so heavy with worry and tension. This is not mere chance. This is not just good timing or simple luck. This is the direct harvest, the rightful fruit of your long endurance. It is the yield from the seeds of faithfulness you planted season after season, often in what felt like barren ground. The patience you practiced is now maturing into a season of promise. The love you chose to give, even when it was hard, is now returning to you in forms of unexpected kindness and support. This shift is the natural, beautiful result of a life that has been rooted in something true and good. And now, at the appointed time, it is simply beginning to bloom. The atmosphere will feel different, not because the world suddenly changed its opinion of you, but because the earth finally caught up to what heaven already knew. What you carried within is about to reflect outward, not in just one area, but across your life. Where there was pressure, there will be room to breathe. Where there was resistance, there will be grace. Challenges may still come, but they will no longer drain you the way they once did, because grace is now carrying what used to feel impossible, and you will know deep within your spirit that none of this was ever wasted. If you allow yourself to stay still a little longer than you once did, you will begin to notice it, not all at once, but gently. What they sense is not confidence or charisma, it is the quiet weight of God's approval beginning to show on the outside. They saw delay, but heaven saw development. They saw silence, but heaven saw preparation. Scripture says, let love and faithfulness never leave you. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Proverbs 3:34. What was forming beneath the surface could not stay hidden forever. And now, little by little, they are seeing what heaven has always seen. You are not waiting for God to love you. He already does. You are not waiting for evidence of His goodness. Your life is that evidence. The blessing is not on its way as if you still need to earn it. It is already present, waiting for the world to align with what you carry. Think of a tree in winter. When the last leaves fall from the branches in the autumn wind, nothing important about the tree's true identity changes. It is still deeply rooted in the ground, still fully alive, still growing and stretching in ways that cannot be seen by anyone just walking past. The cold winter season does not erase what the tree was created to be, strong, fruitful, and full of life. It simply conceals, for a little while, what is absolutely inevitable. The coming spring, the new growth, the beautiful bloom. In the very same way, nothing you have lost, no missed opportunity, no broken relationship, no faded dream, took your God-given purpose with it when it left. Your purpose remains safe and secure. During all that time that felt like a spiritual winter, your roots have been going deeper into the soil of God's love and faithfulness. A quiet inner strength has been building layer upon layer in your character. Real, lasting life has been multiplying and gathering force beneath the surface of your everyday struggles. And now, can you sense it? The season is shifting, the air is changing. Soon, very soon, you will notice a profound difference in how you move through your days. You are no longer straining and striving the way you once did, using all your own effort just to get by. What drained you of all your joy and energy before? The old battles and worries no longer has the same tight grip on your soul. You feel light. Doors of opportunity begin to open before you, not because you pushed and forced them with your own strength, but because they were always meant for you, designed for your steps, and they are now swinging open in their perfect time. The scripture paints this perfect picture. The righteous are like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. That is from Psalm 1 verse 3. The season matters. God's timing matters deeply, and your personal season after a long wait is now changing. When this begins to happen, when you see the first signs of this new spring in your life, don't you dare shrink back in fear. Don't second guess or talk yourself out of the good things God brings into your hand. Receive them with a steady, quiet confidence, knowing they are gifts from a Father who loves you. Every single tear you cried in private when you thought you were all alone, every prayer you whispered in total exhaustion when you had no words left, every small act of love that went completely unseen by anyone else, each one was a holy deposit into your account in eternity. And eternity, God's bank, is never empty. It never runs dry. Heaven always repays in full, and it often does so with more blessing, more grace, and more joy than you ever expected. So your job now is to remain still, not passive or lazy, but deeply anchored in peace, trusting in His goodness. Then just watch. Watch carefully how God's tangible favor begins to move like a gentle river through every single area of your life. You may see your health steady, feeling stronger and more resilient. You may see your relationships soften, old tensions easing, and new understanding blooming. You may see provision, the things you need, finding you in surprising and timely ways. Favor will meet you in your work, in your home, in your quiet moments. It is the harvest of a long obedience, and it is yours to walk in. When the leaves fall, nothing about its identity changes. It is still rooted, still alive, still growing in ways unseen. The season does not erase what it was created to be. It simply conceals what is inevitable. In the same way, nothing you lost took your purpose with it. Your roots have been going deeper. Strength has been building quietly. Life has been multiplying beneath the surface, and now the season is shifting. Soon you will notice that you are no longer straining the way you once did. What drained you before no longer has the same grip. Doors begin to open, not because you forced them, but because they were always meant for you. Scripture says the righteous are like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. Psalm 1:3. Season matters. Timing matters, and your season is changing. When this happens, don't shrink back. Don't second-guess what God brings into your hands. Receive it with steady confidence. Every tear you cried in private, every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every act of love that went unseen was a deposit into eternity. And eternity is never empty. Heaven always repays in full and often with more than expect. So remain still, not passive, but anchored. Watch how God's favor begins to move through every area of your life. Your health steadies, your relationships soften, provision finds, peace becomes a familiar and welcome feeling in your life, like the comfortable warmth of your own home after a long, cold journey. It settles into your routine and your thoughts, becoming your normal state instead of a rare visitor. Your God-given purpose becomes clearer, like a blurry picture coming into sharp, beautiful focus, so you can finally see the path under your feet and the direction you are meant to go. Joy shows up in your ordinary moments without even asking for your permission, surprising you with little bursts of laughter, a lightness in your step, and a sense of contentment you didn't have to chase down. None of this beautiful, lasting change happens because you cleverly manipulated the outcomes or twisted arms to get your way. It happens for one simple and profound reason. You endured. You stayed planted. You held on long enough for the hard, packed-down soil of your life, the disappointments, the delays, the heartaches, to be broken up, softened by the rain of your tears and prayers, and made perfectly ready to receive the seeds of a new beginning. You waited faithfully, and in that waiting, you were unknowingly preparing the ground for a harvest. Here is the final beautiful truth for your heart to hold on to. When you finally step fully into this new season, you won't just feel different for a little while, like a temporary mood. You will be different in the very core of who you are. God's relentless, patient, and kind love has been shaping you the entire time, through every single trial and quiet day. It has been smoothing your rough edges, strengthening your spirit, and building in you a resilience that is now unshakable. That moment of shift, that change in the air you've been sensing deep in your spirit, is closer than you currently think. One day very soon, you will wake up in the morning, take a deep breath, and realize with a calm certainty that the world around you feels profoundly different. This shift won't be because you magically changed overnight or because you finally fixed everything yourself. It will be because your visible daily life has finally caught up with what heaven has declared and known about you all along. You were blessed all along, even when your circumstances screamed otherwise. You were fiercely and completely loved all along, even in your most lonely and forgotten hours.